Good morning, Magic players. Welcome to the morning show where we discuss all things Magic. Get your questions fired up and get this discussion going this morning. Also, we do deck list reviews, so if you got a 75 you'd like some feedback on, submit it to us. Both myself and the community would love to give you that feedback. So brew up your cups of coffee and let's brew up some Magic this morning. Welcome to Coffee and MTG May 13th, 2021. And we got a special guest today. I like to bring the guests on. Guests are fantastic. We've got Litkakashi here from the YouTube channel, Litkakashi.
Damn.
Quickly for everyone who doesn't know who you are, who the hell are you? And for people who aren't familiar with you and your content, why don't you introduce yourself?
What's up, guys? I'm Litkakashi. I love drafting, but let's be honest, man, drafting never works out on YouTube. No one wants to watch those long videos. So, here's what I like. I don't do that on YouTube, though. But other than draft, I'm really into Modern and Pauper. Modern, I'm mainly a Storm guy. And in Pauper, I mean, dude, Pauper is amazing. It's like a brewer's paradise, right? You can build whatever you want. And specifically, of course, I am Litkakashi, so I do try to brew ninjas in every format possible. I've got some pretty sick brews in Pauper, very unsuccessful brew in Modern, and Legacy. I mean, it's in Legacy, it's a meta deck. Like, there's no work I had to do. Like, good players have already figured out good lists, so I was like, cool, I'll just run this. But yeah. I don't know.
Sweet. That's perfect. The Storm guy, the Ninja guy, loves Pauper. Also, we did a collab with Historic Merfolk. You can check that out later. I got links to like Litkakashi's YouTube channel in the description below. But I saw you know what? I invite him on. Let's have a nice morning this morning.
So we got thanks for having me, man.
Hey, you're welcome. We got Andreas. Good morning. MTG Ectoplasm. Leontaz, Walter, Halfway Joe, Hoax, Chris, Benjamin, Fraser, Ian, Bruno. We got everybody. All right. Damn. Okay, hold on. Before we answer questions, though, tell me, Litkakashi, do you like to play Magic the Gathering Arena on your phone?
Do I? Well, that's a funny question because when the thing dropped, my first idea was to record a draft where I'm sitting on the toilet because it's like, you can play like mobile games on the toilet.
Where you want, yes.
And I was like, I should record a draft on the toilet, but I couldn't get a camera angle that seemed safe for YouTube, so we gave up. We gave up, but
you just gotta have a long shirt over your knees,
That's gonna have to be a very long shirt, guys. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't. Do you?
Well, guess what? Apparently, there's a bit of a bug for anyone who has it installed on their phone. So we got Emma Skeward here. Says, so I uninstalled Arena on my phone to see if all the crashes, notifications missing, phone locking up problems were Arena related or just a bad iOS update. Since I uninstalled, I haven't had a single issue with my phone. And a lot of people actually going in, and you might ask yourself, well, why doesn't she just close the app after she's done? Someone says, tech person here, when you're done playing, make sure you close fully the app. Don't leave it running in the background. That might help some of your issues. Emma says, I always do. Never helped. And this whole thread is actually a bunch of people like, I'm glad I saw this. I was legit about to buy a new phone. So apparently, the MTG Arena app, if you have problems with your phone, this might be the problem. So we got Kilpta here. Wait a minute. I've been having this thing where my phone will lock on one app and I have to wait for it to die so I can close it. Is that from Arena? Are you serious? Be right back on installing.
The Wizards getting all of the viruses onto our phone. And can Wizards be trusted? They're trying to get our data, trying to see, guys, are they still buying our Pringled foils? How hard can we curl the foils before people will stop buying? So, they needed to plant some probes on some people's devices, get that insider information,
Apparently she uses an iPhone X, well, iPhone 10. but a few Android users have also messaged her. So that's interesting. So I thought that was a very interesting thing. Not to mention, I don't have it here, but Jeff Hoogland also had a notification pop up on his phone that said, like, MTG Arena would like to scour data from other apps on your phone. Will you allow this? And he's like, no, we're not doing that at all. That could be the main problem. Like, if it's constantly taking data while it's not even being used, that's probably a problem. Anyway, just wanted to get that out of the way for anyone who might be having some phone problems. I personally don't have any problems. And the only problem I have with MTG Arena is it takes up, like, I don't know, 8 gigabytes of space on my phone.
Yeah.
It's enormous, these giant updates.
But
Cabal
you get
Ritual and...
Oh, sorry, dude. Keep
It's
going.
okay.
Keep going.
Okay, Cabal Ritual and Modern.
Is it?
No, they're just asking. So for anyone who's not familiar with the show, 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question helps me find your questions amongst all the comments. Also, you can cheat the system with super chats on YouTube. Don't make a donation with super chats, and your question gets pushed to the top of my feed. So Cabal Ritual, do you think this is safe for Modern?
I think so. I mean, I'm not really sure what you would be like. Is there even a viable black storm deck in Modern? And is there anything you would have to be worried about other than Storm with Cabal Ritual?
Well, not yet, but there is maybe, if we do some 3D, some 4D, 5D chess thinking, maybe Tendrils of Agony is going to get printed in Modern Horizons because Abundant Harvest was spoiled in the Strixhaven Mythical Archive.
Yeah,
and then I thought because of Abundant Harvest, hey, maybe they're printing Counterspell into Modern. So that's why I bought my Counterspells, because they were also featured in the Strixhaven Mystical Archive. But the other card that's Modern playable, that's not in Modern, that's in the Mystical Archive, is Tendrils of Agony.
I mean, yeah, like, I think that might... Wait, do we have Dark Ritual in Modern?
No.
Yeah, okay.
No. That won't, I'm not expecting that one to show up.
I mean, in that case, I'm not sure if you would want Black Storm over Red Storm. Like, Red Storm, or is it Storm rather, just seems a lot more consistent in what it does. It has more kind of critical mass of doing these things. Like, you can have your 8 copies of the exact same card because it just has those cards in their colors. And I think if we're just talking Tendrils and Cabal Ritual coming to Modern, I don't think you'd want to switch the Storm version.
You're not excited. We got the Storm guy here. He's not excited.
I mean, like, you have to give me Dark Ritual to get me excited. Like, come on, man.
That's a bit much.
And Necronomicon while we're at. But nah. Like, I don't know, man. Why I meant Necropotence, my bad.
Oh yeah, Necropotent. Well, you're asking for too much. Well, we until there's more rituals, including Dark Ritual, apparently we're not going to switch to black anytime soon. Walter asks, I feel you there about Modern Litkakashi. All right.
Hey, thanks, man. Always good to have the people's approval.
That's right. King asks, hey, Nikachu, what do you think leads to each of the 3 primary control types to be best in the meta? Blue-white, black, blue-white, red. So, like, blue-white is just the default one because it's got the best mana, most powerful spells. Now, you start moving into Izzet, into Esper, because you want something else, particularly in blue, Jeskai. You move into Jeskai because you want the lightning bolt, you want the lightning helix, you need more spot removal. But you gotta be careful, because that spot removal sucks versus Tron. It sucks versus big mana decks. You don't want that stuff, so it can be dead in a lot of other matchups. And I don't know what to say about Esper, because I mean, this is sort of the first time Esper's ever been good in Modern, and it appears the only reason is because of Fatal Push. Fatal Push is just better than Path to Exile right now.
I like that. That's what I was gonna say. I feel like Esper is literally just Fatal Push. Like, it's like, okay, there's Death Shadows, there's stuff that you can't bolt or helix, so your 3-color control wants Fatal Push. That's really what I feel. And Esper Charm has a sick artwork, so I think that's like 90% of the reason, pretty much.
We just rename it Fatal Push Control.
Exactly. I mean, that's really what it is. Like, also, if the Tarmogoyf is more prolific, I assume you'd probably want Esper.
Absolutely. Geo asks, Silver Smoke Ghoul in Vampire is good or too slow? I think it's good. I like it. I like it. If you combine this with the Sorin, I think this thing is great. It's 3 mana, 3/1. If you gain 3 or more life this turn, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. You can also sack it to draw a card. But the thing is, there's the Sorin.
Which is inbound to be broken at some point.
At some
If you
point,
ask
yeah,
me.
you got your eyes on this thing. I mean, it's already being
Yeah.
used in like some Morophon jank builds, but one day it's gonna be a Morophon tier 1 build.
Yes.
So you got this plus. It's a +1 too. Sacrifice the vampire. If you do, deals 3 damage to any target. You gain 3 life. So you sacked your Silver Smoke Ghoul. Dealt 3 damage. Gonna come back from the graveyard because you gain 3 life. So you just can repeat it. You can repeatedly attack and also shoot things, and it's all good.
But then we start talking about Mardu vampires with Lightning Helix. See, that's where it gets crazy. Ruin your mana base for that one synergy. Let's go. But no, I mean,
that's the brewer in you talking.
Hell yeah. Like, there's also that Smiting Helix, 4 mana, deal. It's a black 4 mana card, deal 3, gain 3, and then for 2 you can flash it back in Mardu colors. See, now we have to find a way to get that into the graveyard. And I mean, at that point, we just have 8 Lightning Helixes. Like,
well, if you use the front half first, you can have 12.
Damn.
There we go.
I mean,
you're gonna be great for Decklist review. We review Decklist at the end. You know, you're gonna have some great ideas, I'm sure.
I mean, I wouldn't classify that a great idea, but
people just want ideas. You know, they love ideas. Unmask in Modern. People don't even ask me, is Unmask playable in Modern? Yeah, it would be Modern playable if it gets printed in Modern Horizons 2. I don't know when this would happen. Did the price go up? I like looking at the prices these days.
You do. Are you somewhat of an investor nowadays?
No, but I look at price trends. Let's MTG stocks. Unmask. Let's look.
It's at like $7 to $8 at least here in Europe. But those are some kind of beat up copies.
All right, so no copies like spiking. So someone said Caracas. I saw there was someone made a comment Caracas spiked or something. Caracas coming to Modern Horizons 2. Saw the spike go up recently on MTG stocks. That is quite a spike in February. Because here's the deal. People with inside information act on it ahead of time before the cards come out. So there have been, when Conspicuous Snoop, for example, spiked. Sorry, no, when Conspicuous Snoop got printed, a lot of Goblin cards spiked 2 months ahead of time, or like cards that would go into the Goblin deck. Same thing with Pioneer. When Pioneer, like there was a bunch of Pioneer singles that were just rising like, they were Pioneer singles rising like crazy. Treasure Cruise, Dig Through Time, or Foil Treasure Cruise, I should say. So a bunch of cards are rising for no reason. Eventually we found out, hey, Pioneer was going to be a format. So the deal is the investors, they know this stuff ahead of time. They got some inside information. So why spike? Why spike Caracas? Why do you spike and unmask? Nothing happens. We saw the same thing with Richard and Port.
I mean, maybe people are just thinking Unmask isn't good enough. I don't know why you would think that, but I mean, that's a possibility, right? It isn't like a card where I see it and I'm like, this will change the format, right? This is absolutely insane. Sure, it's good, but it's like very all in, right? It's like it's
for the combo decks. It's going to be for that Black Storm deck.
Exactly. So
it's all coming together. They're going to force a Black Storm deck somehow.
And I'm just going to be sad. I just bought the new Japanese grape shots and the new Japanese opts, and they're amazing. And then, well, I guess probably we're still going to use the opts.
Still use them. Give me blue Black Storm. What's the Storm deck without the cantrips?
I mean, a very inconsistent Storm deck. Probably running more than 19 lands.
Samuel asks, do you think Canadian Threshold, old legacy deck, has a chance of existing in Modern? Some people have tried, but it's just not working out for them. Maybe Nimble Mongoose is just completely outclassed by, like, Tarmogoyfs, Death Shadows, the bigger creatures, the prowess creatures. Doesn't really have a chance. I mean, I would say the closest you got to Canadian Threshold is just the Death Shadow deck with Tarmogoyf. It's basically the same thing. Instead of Delver Secrets, you got Death Shadow. Instead of Nimble Mongoose, you've got Hex Drinker, basically.
Yeah. I'm looking at this list now. I don't know. Like, it feels very tailored to Legacy. Like, I don't know, man. I think this isn't, like, powerful enough for Modern. But maybe
And
that's just
creatures
me.
die too easily. You can't protect it with Daze and Force of Will. Can't protect your turn 1 Delver.
That's the same thing with ninjas, man. Like, give us Days and Forcible, and then I can play ninjas in Modern, right? It's really just the counterspell suite with these kind of decks, I feel like. And
Gotta protect.
Yeah, no, I don't see this in Modern.
Bar Balboa asks, this card could make that old black-red waste not storm deck hilarious. Oh yes, the you're referring to the Cabal Ritual, I'm assuming. Probably referring to Cabal Ritual. James asks, Orvar the All Form, how does its second ability work while in your hand and not an active permanent on the board? I thought cards had to be in play to use its abilities. Orvar the All Form. I don't know what this is.
It's like a standard card. Wait, I'm gonna Google it real quick. It's like a blue changeling. So the second ability, whenever
it's okay, hold on.
well,
Changeling. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, if it targets one or more other permanents you control, create a token that's a copy of those permanents. When a spell or ability an opponent controls causes you to discard this card, create a token that's a copy of target permanent. It does need to be on the board. How does its second ability work while in your hand and on active permanent? I thought it doesn't. It doesn't. If you had a friend that said so, they're wrong. They lied. This happens.
I think he means the last ability. I think he's referring to that if something causes you to discard it.
When a spell or ability an opponent controls causes you to
Yeah.
discard this card. Oh yeah, you're right.
It's like if something states that it works from a different zone from the field, then that will overwrite it. Like, for example, Narcomoeba, right? If it enters the graveyard from your deck, then you get to put it into play. And basically, it's always the text on the card overwrites the text in the general rules, right? Yeah, Obstinate Bailiff, Loxodon Smiter, that kind of thing.
This is a classic card. If a spell or an ability an opponent controls causes you to discard Obstinate Bailiff, put it onto the battlefield instead of putting it into your graveyard. I wish I read to the end of the card. But so yeah, the deal is Magic is all about rules breaking rules. I mean, that's just how it is. It's just the rule. Magic is all about rules breaking rules. There are rule, and I think Litkakashi answered this perfectly. If the card says otherwise, you do what the card says. Litkakashi is lit.
Spells should only be cast once, but Storm is like, nah, man. Look at me. Look at me. I can do this multiple times. I don't care. What do you mean my grape shot is only supposed to go on the stack once?
You've already earned your keep on the show, Litkakashi. You've already earned your keep. Great. Where is...
Do I just get kicked off once I give a wrong answer? Immediately?
Nah. I give wrong answers all the time, and I'm on here, but it's my show. We got Dre here. Any merit to just Cabal Ritual into Ad Nauseam and exploring non-storm payoffs? Oh, that's a good question for you.
I mean, like, how are you gonna get that much into the grave for the setup? I feel like by the time you've made that setup to play the Ad Nauseam, like, you might as well just run the normal I don't know. It feels like a little too flimsy for just those 4 copies of Cabal Ritual to run some way of setting up your graveyard for the Cabal Ritual. Like, you'd need something else to do with that, I feel like.
Also, like in modern, well, I mean, in modern, when we use ad nauseum, it's used with like Phyrexian Unlife, but in Legacy, particularly in the Storm deck, they had like a bunch of 1 mana and 0 mana cards in their deck, Lotus Petal, Lion's Eye Diamond, so they
Yeah.
could like dig through their deck a lot while gaining Storm. Whereas in modern, ad nauseum can kill you. Ad nauseum has a high chance of killing you, unless you've got, of course, like Angel's Grace or something. Who knows? Someone's gonna try it. Someone's gonna try it. I mean, Cabal Ritual might like bring life to all sorts of different combo decks that have never really existed. Yvonne Tapalis, have you seen the Twiddle Storm continuously winning on turn 3 with Wish Clock Talisman as eighth Lotus Field? Do you think Lotus Field is ban worthy? What do you think about the Twiddle Storm deck?
I assume so. This is Pioneer he's talking about, not
Pioneer,
Modern.
yes.
I don't think Lotus Field is ban worthy, but so it's hard because
Lotus.
Pioneer, I mean, yeah, it is a Lotus, making it one of the best cards in Magic, but I feel like Pioneer is hard to talk about because I don't think the meta is always perfectly shaped, because once it died, kind of like due to Corona, once it died in paper, I feel like we don't have enough data on the format anymore. I'm not sure if Lotus Storm is like tier 0 anymore, like with the bannings. I think it's like solidly top 3, but it's very, very beatable. I don't think Lotus Field will see a ban anytime soon. But yeah, I think it might happen. Like what's happening a lot in Pioneer, I feel like, is that Wizards is banning cards that people don't like, not cards that are actually way too good, right? I think that's genuinely
it's the like, feel good format.
Exactly. Like, so, and combo decks have been the top tier in this format for basically almost since its inception, right? Once a few things were banned, people were figuring out, okay, combo is the way to go. And you had like the top 3 decks being different combo decks. So I think Wizards might ban it just because it's a card people don't like. People don't like playing against combo in a majority of their Pioneer events. I think that is a possibility. From a balance standpoint, I don't think it has to go.
It's a Twiddle Storm in Modern. I forgot. Is Twiddle really not legal? Well, hold on. Well, I know there is still the. Is it literally? I thought it was figuratively like Twiddle Storm in Pioneer, or are you literally talking about Twiddle in Modern? Because it's not, they don't literally have Twiddle maybe in Pioneer, but I mean it effectively does the same thing. You're just dirtling around to a victory.
It's 2 mana Twiddle. It's not quite as good, but
well, now in Modern, it's less broken just because there are better combo decks out there. There's like a lot of really, I mean, turn 3 comboing off on turn 3 in Modern. Who cares? Yeah. I mean, like, you're not the only one out there,
Let me just look at a Twiddle Storm list here, and I'll just. There we go. First place Twiddle Storm. No, I don't. I see this deck, and I really don't think it's ban worthy, because there's no reason for me to just not play Gift Storm instead. Like I don't see that. This is, I guess, like it's less. There's less hate cards against this, but I feel like it's a lot clunkier. Like I'm not gonna. Gift Storm is so good because it's like such a complete package, right? Like there's no awkward pieces that you can draw, but I feel like this deck. No, I don't see Lotus Field getting banned off of this. Definitely not.
Now, I mean, if I were to talk deep into the future, maybe Lotus Field could hit some sort of ban, not from the Twiddle Storm deck, but it is like 3 mana in 1 card, and some people have used some good creativity.
Yeah.
With Blood Sun, you play Blood Sun, you play your Lotus Field, and all of a sudden, you don't have to sacrifice anything because all the lands lose all abilities except the mana ability.
Yes. I think also I saw someone like testing with the historic combo where it's like that 2 mana blue spell that counters an ability, and like that's basically your turn 3. But yeah, that one I felt like was too janky and modern, but just not efficient enough. I mean, you're doing turn 3, you're tapping your entire, like, you're dead, bro. Except
Yes.
if you have Force
It's
of
a
Negation.
high risk, high reward. Exactly. D-Tie Gaming asks, what if Modern becomes non-reserve less legacy? Then becomes non-reserve less legacy. That's exactly what happens, and it could evolve that way. I mean, when Modern Horizons 1 came out, we thought, oh, this might have been a one and done set. But if they're going to do this every 2 years for forever, and they keep pumping out legacy cards into Modern, then I mean, it's just going to start to shape up to look like something like some sort of non-reserve less legacy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's at some point just gonna be like you play Modern because you don't have the OG dual lands, so you might as well just, like, your mana base isn't optimal for Legacy, so go play Modern. I think that's what it might end up being.
With the turn 4 rule, if they can keep that around. I don't know how well they can police that, but they'll do their best.
Cabal Ritual potentially breaking it. Who knows?
They'll have to ban Cabal Ritual. Benjamin asks, if Esper is only for Fatal Push, wouldn't it be better to run on Thin Ice? Hard to remove the enchantment and get around Luris Recursion. It's not instant speed, though.
That, and also, like, 3-color controls mana base is a lot more restrictive, like, because you do need the man lands. There's like a lot of lands that you want to be running that just don't allow you for it to be snow, right? So I think that's also like a big reason why on Thin Ice, it's not as easy to have it as consistently.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the idea is, how about we go blue-white control and just play with on Thin Ice instead?
Oh, right. Okay. No,
but here's the deal.
Said.
You can't kill at instant speed. So if you go turn 1, pass, and then your opponent plays a creature, you can't kill it till your turn 2, and then all of a sudden the rest of your game is super mana efficient. That's going to be a real big deal breaker, because if you want to hold up Counterspell on their turn 2, you can't tap any of your mana. So there is a really big cost to playing on Thin Ice. It's really clunky.
With Counterspell costing double blue, you are going to want to be more careful with your mana base. So if, like, with snow lands, right, you only have 4 dual lands that are snow. So it's not that easy to get on Thin Ice. Like a white source that's snow, if you do want to have those 2 blue on turn 2, I feel like.
Well, here's an interesting question for all the anime fans out there. What anime do you want cards for in Universes Beyond? You can't say Naruto.
I mean, my favorite anime is Berserk, and I feel like that kind of fantasy medieval setting, like, it fits Magic really well anyway. So I don't know, man. Like, if I've got any boys in the chat who watch Berserk, but Berserk would be fucking sick. You have fairies, which, fairies are in Magic anyway. You could make a new fairy tribal card. You can have Guts, you can have Griffith, and then you can just have, I mean, Berserk would be fucking sick. Like, let's be honest, man. That's it really, I feel like a lot of the mechanics also translate, like, from Magic, just translate well to Berserk, right? You can have, like, your rabbit guys who has, like, bloodthirst, that kind of stuff,
A lot of Berserk fans here.
Hell yeah.
Berserk representing.
Berserk is amazing, man. Dude, you should. I mean, I don't really recommend, like, the show because I never watched it myself, but you should read, like, the manga. It's pretty insane. Like,
I don't watch a whole lot of anime shows. I just watch the movies. I guess the closest I would want is something Spirited Away. A lot of creature types in this would be portrayed in this movie significantly. Like,
you should have, like, the little ash things, like the ones that live in the furnace.
Yeah. The soot.
Exactly. Yeah, man. Ghibli movies would just look crazy on Magic cards. Like, for example, when I saw the Opt, right, like the Japanese alternate Opt, I was like, okay, this is crazy. This looks nothing like a Magic card. This is so cool. And I feel like Ghibli movies on Magic cards would have that same effect, where it's just like, wow, this art style is crazy. It's
Which
it's the Mystical Archive
oh
82E or something. Yeah, there,
this one?
there. No, the one under it.
Oh
That one.
oh yeah, I love all the Mystical Archive cards, especially well, particularly the Japanese ones. So I got
Yeah,
my counter spells.
I'm kind of
Keep them right
jealous of those
beside me.
counter spells. They're pretty sweet.
Love me my counter spells. We got our first super chat. MTG Ectoplasm asks which spirit creatures affect storm decks the most, and what version of spirits is a worse matchup, Bant or Azorius? MTG Ectoplasm always tries to grill players of archetypes for information against spirits.
Well, I can't say I love the counter spell. What's it called?
Spell Queller?
Spell queller, right? Because I mean that thing exiles my spell. I can't even flashback past In Flames if you exile it. That card is gross. But let me just, because I'm probably forgetting something. I'm not a huge spirits player, although I love the deck, but I
We
just
just
don't
need to
own.
know your side as a storm player. What do you hate
Exactly.
playing against?
I'm just gonna check up a list to make
Yeah,
sure
go
I'm
for
not
it.
forgetting anything. MTG Modern Spirits.
I really need to. I'm gonna buy this device that lets me play music at the same time here.
Damn.
Normally we'd have music, but whenever I have a guest, I can't have music because otherwise you'd hear yourself. It'd probably
Oh.
make the whole experience unbearable.
Yeah, I think hearing yourself is always I mean, Skyclave Apparition is usually a little too late, so I don't really mind. If I were you, I'd
Mhm,
probably take out the Skyclave Apparitions like post
mhm,
board. I think they're a little too clunky because I can easily just hold up the dork until the turn where it's relevant. Mausoleum Wanderer is obviously really annoying because that thing's pressuring me every turn while still having, like, making me have to keep up more mana for my storm turn. So Mausoleum Wanderer is definitely good. Let me see what you got in your sideboard. Obviously, I'm just looking at a generic list. This might not be your list at all, but of course, I see there's Damping Spheres and Chalices. Those do hurt. Although Chalice, I'm not even sure. Like, I think Chalice on one with
well,
the
Chalice on
current.
one is useless.
Exactly. Like,
But what about Chalice on two?
Chalice on two is useful, but I feel like at the point where you're spending 4 mana for a brick, like, Storm probably has an answer by then, I think. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, Chalice on two is definitely painful. So if you can get a decent aggro curve going and then going Chalice on two, that definitely hurts. But yeah, from your sideboard, what I see here, uh, obviously Rest in Peace also really hurts. Forces you to go off from your hand,
Hmm.
but you can't bring in your whole sideboard, I feel like, without hurting your game plan too much. So I think I would probably go with the Rest in Pieces, the Force of Negations, and maybe like the Damping Spheres. Like
Hmm.
those, I think I wouldn't put in the Chalice. I think you'd lose too much of your like efficient aggro plan at that point. I'd be taking out definitely the Skyclave Apparitions. I'd be taking out. I'm thinking about taking out Selfless Spirits, but honestly, I am going to be boarding in Lightning Bolts against you. I'm definitely going to be putting in Lightning Bolts so that I can
Hmm.
kill those Spell Quellers to get back my spell. So Lightning Bolts will be going in. So I'd actually keep those Selfless Spirits. Um,
Maybe take out Shaco Geist and Spectral Sailor.
yeah, Shacklegeist definitely. Yeah, but yeah, I think I'd really be taking out the apparition. Apparition seems like it would be good, but I feel like killing one of the mana dorks for 3 isn't actually as good as it seems. I'm sorry.
Hmm. It's all good. All right, awesome. That was a great explanation. Thank you very much, MTG Ectoplasm, for the super chat. Where am I here? Crazy White Guy, is Ensnaring Bridge too slow in today's modern metagame? I feel like the prowess decks seem like they will just kill you. I would agree. I think it is too slow. I mean, it's not just that it's too slow. In the past, Ensnaring Bridge was good because you could empty your hand fast enough to make it matter. Now today, a lot of Ensnaring Bridge decks are just really, really clunky. Like looking at the top decks, some of them don't even care about Ensnaring Bridge. I mean, okay, Blitz, they have a lot of one tough, like one power creatures, so they attack, then they pump them up, so you die anyway. Healed Company, they can combo off. They don't need to attack you at all. Eldrazi-tron, they play their own Ensnaring Bridge, so they probably don't care. Amulet Titan can care. That's possible, but if they've got a Valakut out and Dryad of the Elysian Grove, they'll just shoot your face. So there's not only is it slow, it just doesn't even work against a lot of the top decks right now. They just don't care. You got this blue-red Through the Breach deck.
An amazing deck. I love it.
I mean, they have a lot of ways of bouncing the card if they need to. What Prismari Command also destroys artifacts now, so just to show Prismari Command. One of the command options is destroy artifacts, so just not well positioned. And it's slow. Spencer Ward, want to see something wild. Prophecy foils are insane right now. Interesting. Well, you gotta name me something. How about Avatar of Woe? I don't know. That's a random card from Prophecy that I remember. Look,
I'm surprised that you actually remember specific Prophecy cards. That set always goes
well,
under
I
my
started
radar.
playing around that time. That's the only reason why.
Okay.
Like I started playing between, I think, Prophecy and Invasion. And so, yeah, these were super bulk cards. Like they were terrible. Cards like Bribery were worthless. I definitely threw away Briberies because it was completely useless at the time.
Damn.
Like this card, I mean, it was like 50 cents for who knows how long back in like the early 2000s. It was just garbage. Okay, what's the foil on? What are we predicting as the foil here? No peeking, anyone. What do you think? I'm gonna guess 150.
What's the normal?
Hold on, is there any promos on this? Oh fuck, I might be. Are there any? There's a masterpiece. Ooh, that master we saw. Huh? What's the normal? Normal is $3.
$3. I'm gonna say like 70, maybe.
Okay, I'm going with 150. Oh, 225. By Price is Right rules, I win. Yeah, a lot of these old foils are going up high. Like, I would not be surprised that my old foil cards are soon going to be worth more than anything else that I have. Oh wow, wait, it's in the top corner, so it wasn't really. We're both blind.
What?
Well, the price of the foil is in the top right corner. That's hilarious. I didn't know. You know, I've gone to this site a million times. I don't think they had that in the past. Well, whatever. I'm just blind. I wasn't paying attention. You telling me I've been clicking the foil button all this time for no reason?
Dude,
for no reason at all?
So much APM lost on that foil button click right there.
What is OG-ristic Studies? $400?
What?
Oh, wait. Well, this is, well, whatever. I think we got to wait for the market to adjust. This price is just too stupid for me. A little bit too stupid.
Is there any reason that we can tell for these foils going up?
Well, hey, those commander players, if they want to foil out their deck, they might not have enough options. Look, we got a foil judge promo. Like the Jumpstart is only non-foil as far as I know. Mystery Booster, I don't know if this comes in foil. Yeah, there's no foil for so if you want a foil-ristic study, I mean, you don't got many options. You just don't. You want to foil out your beautiful commander deck, there's not much you can do. Yeah, and I heard the seventh edition is, well, back in the day, 7th edition sucked. No one wanted to buy that thing because it was white bordered. People were tired of white border because I was around there. People just didn't like 7th edition, and now people are like, we want that. What's Birds of Paradise now? I bet it's insane. I bet it's just beyond nuts now. Okay, before we hit the 7th edition one, what are we guessing for the prices? I'm gonna guess $1,300.
Oof. Okay, you going hard.
Oh yeah, I think this
I'm
is
a,
going to be high.
I'm gonna go safer. I'm go 960.
Oh my god.
What?
What is going on here? Oh, I didn't go hard enough. I didn't go hard enough, chat.
You still win though. It's 2-0 for you at this point.
I
Holy.
didn't go hard enough, chat. This is nuts. $4,120. So there's very few. I think there's. I mean, it's an old set, and I think it was very unpopular. It was very, very unpopular back in the day. It was so unpopular. No one wanted these cards. But but if you get it in foil, it's black bordered. Lavax is $50. That's crazy. We
I
see,
feel
oh my god, 7th edition Lord of Atlantis. Oh my god, that must be, then probably isn't as crazy as Birds of Paradise. Okay, what are we guessing 7th edition Lord of Atlantis is? I'm gonna guess 800 for this one. I feel
what's
that
the
actually might be
artwork?
too high. Huh?
What's the artwork on that one? Which one
It's
is that?
unique. It's got a different artwork. I'll look.
Wait,
I don't want to look it
I'll
up here. I'll put seventh edition Lord of Atlantis. Got this artwork.
huh.
It's the
Well, that
only
art
one with this artwork too. This is unique.
I don't like the art, so I'm gonna go mm, hmm 600, I'm gonna say.
600. I'm going 800. I might be going too hard because this is not the, this isn't Birds of Paradise iconic. It's iconic. What
But
the hell
I
happened to
feel
Beta
like
Lord of Atlantis over 100,000? That's crazy.
Lord is like,
Ooh, not even
oh,
close. No
that's
love for
2-1
Lord of
for
Atlantis.
me.
It had a brief period at 4 grand, but then people were like, "Oh, we're selling out of this thing quick.
I
We're gonna dump on the pump."
I feel like Lord of Atlantis is like iconic in like the artwork everyone knows, right? I think it's very tied to the artwork. If Lord of Atlantis is iconic, and this one just looks like a mess. Like, no insult to the artist, but if I looked at this from like a little bit further, I just could not tell what it is. I think um, the other art is just like perfect, and
I will say this, I've seen it in foil. This art actually looks really good in foil. Like it creates a lot of sparkly bubbles. Like there's tons of
mm,
little bubbles on the art that you can't see very well, but the foil really makes it all pop out. They made all the little all the little bubbles and the image pop out. So it actually looks really good in foil. Non-foil though, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. I do not use this version. Some people are now wanting us to look for counters. 7th, is there a 7th? No, there's a 9th edition or 8th edition counter spell. They're going to give us a regular counterspell. Okay, here's counterspell. So which one's, oh, there is a
oh,
7th
there
edition
is.
counterspell.
Damn, that one looks really cool as well.
Oh my god. What are we going to guess this is the worth on this one?
Dude, I'm gonna go 1,100. This one's really cool.
I'm going to go 800.
Okay, okay.
Foil, only 575.
You're a lot better at this than I am, it seems.
Well, I do like foiling up my deck. I got a feel for the foil market, but look, it did reach about 800, but then it crashed down to 575. People are buying into the damn thing.
This is a cool as hell counterspell artwork. Like, if there weren't the Japanese one, I'd probably use this one.
Mm-hmm.
But the Japanese one is just insane. Like, come on, man.
And I think this was the last printing of Counterspell in Standard. I think that's it. After, or is there? I think that's it. I think that's the last. After that, Counterspell was basically soft banned from Standard and therefore never made it into Modern.
Fair
Yeah,
enough. Fair
didn't.
enough.
Yeah, because it didn't make 8th edition. If 8th edition is in Modern. City of Brass. Is there a foil City of Brass? Oh God, that actually is iconic.
And
That's an iconic one.
and there's like more than one sliver player, so it's probably like pretty good. I don't know. I mean, City, I'm gonna say. So we're talking 7th edition City of Brass, right?
I guess so. I don't know how. I'm scared of looking it up. Well, I could look it up here. There's an 8th edition one. Hard to tell from this thing. There's an 8th
Oh,
edition
there,
one.
there.
Oh, there is a 7th. No, this
No,
is
no,
a.
the
Oh, there
white
has to be a
border.
real 7th. Okay, so there
Yeah,
is a
yeah, it's
7th.
there. I just was pointing at my screen, like, yeah, you're gonna see this where I'm pointing at, right?
Oops. uh, I'm gonna guess it's not gonna be too expensive. There's a lot of, maybe there is, because there was an 8th edition. Because there's two of them, and if there's two foils, then people have, and it's the same art. So if you didn't get the 7th edition one, you could go get the 8th edition one.
And I feel like a lot of people don't like white border. So like if there's an option between black and white border foil, I feel like a lot of people to stay
Oh
consistent
no,
in
but
their deck.
they're all black border foil. See, it was a white bordered set, but
Oh,
if you got the card
oh,
in foil, it was always black border.
okay.
Yes, this looks white border, but if you got it in foil, it'd be black border.
Might have to invest into those 7th edition counters.
Okay, I'm gonna guess 500 on
500.
City of Brass.
I'm gonna go 700. 4th place. I think you clicked like
Oh,
the oversized prize card that they had like at
looks
the
like I
Grand
have.
Prix or
Well,
something.
I just clicked enter, and by default, it went here. Come on, give me my options. There we go.
City of Ass. What?
7th edition. What do we got here?
Oh,
Oh my god.
sheesh.
$2,000. 7th edition. Whoever invested in the foils, I mean, they made bank.
What?
Oldest talk about reserve list cards being like where the money should be and all that. That's all nonsense. Someone who went hard on the foils, old foils. I
Damn.
mean, it's paying dividends now. That's
You
these spikes are way harder than any reserve list card I ever saw. This is
holy
way, it
shit.
went from, it was actually pretty expensive before. It was already in the hundreds, 266. If you told me it was already 266 before the spike, I would have guessed higher. That's beyond nuts.
Damn.
It's not even going down, it just keeps going up.
How much stock of these is there in foil?
Probably
Like,
almost none. Like very, very little.
so
Like I said, this was a very unpopular set. Like no one wanted this thing.
so it could be just like a single, like a group of investors just buying like this kind of foil out, right?
Mhm.
Like that's definitely a possibility.
Look at this. Just one set later, only $848. Maybe 8th edition
Damn.
was better than 7th edition. I don't know. I didn't play around that time.
I mean, I think I own like one. Right. I used to have Sleight of Hand. That was 8th edition. So there we
Mhm.
go. That's a good card. But yeah, I couldn't tell you what's in 8th edition.
It's only $848.
What a steal.
What a steal. All right, you know what time it is, everyone? It's time for deck list review. All right, so now is the time that if you got a deck list, submit it to us. Go into my description. In my description, there is a link to my Discord. Join my Discord, and in there, you can find the channel Deck List Review. Join the channel Deck List Review and submit your deck list by entering the command !review deck. Give a space. Give the URL to your deck list. Press enter. You will be eligible at random to be picked for deck list review. We got Litkakashi in the house here today for a
Of
fantastic deck
course.
list review. It will be amazing. 7th edition booster packs running for 180. Holy crap. I mean, they might have really, they might have a lot of like commander cards in them that were worthless at the time. Like I said, like commander wasn't a thing back then. Multiplayer Magic wasn't a thing. It's like, is this like a standard or extended playable card? No. Well, then it's useless. So
I
and
appreciate
now people are finding gold in those old sets.
I appreciate the profile picture with like the mini muffins. That's like a really nice snack. Pretty good, pretty good.
Okay, as we wait for everyone to submit deck lists, we are going to do, you know what we do on this channel? We also have to give shout outs to sponsors.
Okay.
FusionGamingOnline.com, Canadian local game store. Deal of the week this week. Save 15% off all the list singles, set, and booster packs. So you need these are all commander cards basically, and Food Chain. Is Food Chain a commander card?
I'm not the guy to ask for commander.
All right, you're with me. I don't play much commander myself. That's why I'm asking. That's why I gotta ask for help. Probably it is. I would
But
not be surprised.
I see those training grounds, and training grounds is sweet as hell. I love Rebels. Play some legacy Rebels with training grounds. So I'd buy those from fusiongaming.com, and you save 15% off of them. So that's pretty
you
insane.
can save additional though. An additional
Oh,
5% off if you use coupon code Nikachu at checkout. So just in case 15% wasn't enough, you can get an extra 5% on top of that. And you also get
wait.
look, well, they got Modern Horizon stuff going in here.
Did I just see a merfolk on the artwork
Yes,
of the...
we are. The Merfolk community is heavily speculating what the hell this could be. It's a beautiful artwork, but is it
Yes.
going to be a good card? They have put very beautiful artworks on very useless cards in the past, cards that don't help us at all. So yeah, we're hoping this is going to be a good one. Maybe a
It's gonna...
Planeswalker. Who knows?
Or a 1-mana lord with flash that counters a spell when it enters the battlefield.
Oh,
I mean,
don't give me cards that will get banned.
like, will that get banned? See, now there's a discussion right there. Like,
would a card that good in Modern still even be good enough to compete in Modern? It's a good question. Yes, let's come on, Merfolk. Let's hope for some good stuff. Oh, Food Chain is solid in EDH. All right, so they're pandering to the EDH players. EDH Cup players join Fusion Gaming Online. Also, we gotta support Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. I mean, these rental services allow you to play any deck you want. You know, you're bringing over many creative decks for Coffee and MTG. If you want to bring them to life, you can do that with Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 15% off your first 2 months using my coupon code Nikachu.
that's a pretty good deal.
It's a pretty good deal if you like value.
I mean, I love
Okay.
value. I'm a Magic player, and I'm not
Yeah,
a Burn
we
player.
all like value.
Burn players hate value. They're going -1 like every turn, dude. They're just like 1 mana -1, 1 mana -1. But I mean, it works for some reason.
All right. So our first contestant on Decklist review, Ruckix. Congratulations, you're the next contestant on Decklist review. Sending your decklist on the absolute worst site to see decklist, deckstats.net. So somebody said there's a better way of looking at these cards.
Check maybe
No.
like the visual spoiler. Maybe that gives you like...
it's worse.
Oh.
I mean, this does not get better, in my opinion. You can't even see how many copies of each card there are. Let me zoom out, see if that's a problem. Oh. Like, it doesn't give you lands 25, but how many of each land? Like, this is useless to me. Okay, you can sort of see stuff here.
Oh, wait,
It's still...
like, wasn't the lands just one-offs anyway? Like, I feel like that's correct.
Oh, maybe that's
yeah,
the case.
that's 25 lands actually.
This is still a very hideous way of looking at the deck. Look, is this where the sideboard be?
Yeah. Can you do like one more zoom out? I think like... Okay, that didn't really... Can you...
Anyway, this is hands down worst way to display. Well, anyway, maybe we'll try the visual spoiler here. Here, so what is this deck about? Is there is a description? This deck seeks to...
Oh, sorry, you go ahead, man.
Okay, this deck seeks to control the board long enough to play a prismatic bridge and begin wheeling into Praetors for heavy taxing effects. The sideboard shifts into Super Friends to dodge creature removal. Leyline of the Void as a graveyard deck, catch all to Fairy Time Raveler against control decks, and Sanctity against burn. Revelry is a cheeky card to counter Blood Moon, since we only need one basic forest and anything else to cast it. All right, so this is... maybe you can help more than I can when it comes to this deck list.
Well, it does look like a deck that I would build. I'm not gonna lie. I saw that prismatic bridge. I was like,
what is this prismatic bridge?
It's the flip side. It probably doesn't even display flip sides on here, but that green card, the green, like the Asika.
Oh,
it's like thing.
So 5 mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature or planeswalker card, put onto the battlefield, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And it's an enchantment, so you get this every turn.
Yes. So I'm gonna assume that this was built because you think Praetors are pretty cool, which I can't lie, they have pretty sick artworks. Because I feel like there might be like some more optimal top end creatures in modern. Like obviously these are really good, these are powerful, and if you get this out, like they're strong, right? But I think I'm not sure if I would run this as a control deck that controls until it gets Prismatic Bridge, because I feel like at that point you're giving up a lot of space for the bridge plus the cards that are coming out of bridge, and you're losing a lot of control cards, right? So you're gonna end up like okay, you have Wrath of God, right? For example, that's like a profitable card. You can go like 2 for 1, 3 for 1 with that. But
Yeah.
let's say you're 1 for 1ing with Path to Exile. Maybe you even have to 2 for 1 with Force of Negation. You know, you're using these control cards, and you're but part of your hand is like clunked up with the bridges or the creatures you're trying to bring in with bridge.
Jin Cataxius.
Exactly. Jin Cataxius, a perfect example. Imagine you have Jin Cataxius in your hand. But I think the way I would build sorry, I didn't finish that point. What I'm trying to say is you have a lot of ways to trade 1 for 1 with your control things, but you can't keep that up because a lot of your cards in your hand are just going to be dead cards. So you're just going to run out of those control cards fairly quickly. Also, I'm not sure if Remand would be the counterspell you would want like 4 times in the main board in this current environment. Like with Prowess being so prevalent, I think Remand is not the main deck counterspell. But yeah, what I'm trying to say with this is I think I would rather build a Prismatic Bridge deck as like a very like hard accelerating deck, right? If you really want to go for that Prismatic Bridge jank, then I think the plan has to be to ramp into it. Or I don't think there's like a crazy way to cheat out an enchantment in Modern, at least none I'm aware
Not that I
of.
know of.
But yeah, I think I would definitely rather go with turn 1 ramp, turn 2 ramp, and then hopefully cast this thing on turn 3 or 4. I feel like that should be your plan in Modern rather than naturally getting to 5 mana and
about
then
this?
playing this.
Can we get this thing in play with Bring to Light?
I think so, right?
I'm pretty
I
sure it's
mean,
just 5 mana at 5 different colors. So
yeah.
I actually think this should be taking the Bring to Light shell, which can be a little controlling. You can still have Wrath of Gods because you can bring to light into like a Supreme Verdict and stuff like that. So maybe we should be looking to borrow ideas from these new Bring to Light, Niv to Light decks, except instead of
Yeah.
Niv Mizzet. So I mean that you
I'm,
might be looking to play something like this. You can play with a lot of, well, I mean, they're playing with a variety of removal spells only because of the Niv Mizzet, but you could choose to do other
yeah.
things. You can choose to do other things, of course, but you can whatever, you can play all these removal spells or other removal spells. But the point is you got to I think they have some ramp, don't they?
I mean,
Maybe this
they
version
have
doesn't, but I'm not against things like Farseek and Explorer. I think those are good cards too. Utopia
definitely
Sprawl.
Utopia Sprawl would definitely be a card I would want to run in a bridge deck. So yeah, I think you would run the Bring for like more copies of Bridge, but
Yeah.
I do think I'd play it a lot more like accelerant focused than like a typical Bring to Light deck. Because I think with the amount of like bombs and stuff you have to run in your deck, I think you can't really support um, a control shell. I think you're just gonna be a not so functional control deck. So I think I would rather be a ramp deck for this.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take.
And I like the idea of like ramping into Bring to Light, ramping into this thing. Well, first off, I think there should be 4 copies of this in the deck.
Yes.
You only have 3. Like for a deck that almost revolves around this card, you should have more copies. And I would still play, or I don't know, maybe if you have 4 Bring to Light, you can play 3. What do they do?
But I mean, I think it's
Yeah,
better to
4 Niv
play
to Light, 4 Bring to Light.
I think it's better to play 4 bridge and 3 bring to light, because if you draw multiples of like if you draw a bridge and like an Asika, you can still play the Asika front side. It's just a ramp, right? It's just a 3 mana and it just taps for mana. So, like, I think that it makes more sense to play 4 and 3 because you still have the utility of it just being a ramp in itself to get you to that bridge. I think that would be my angle at this deck.
It's definitely a way to go about it. So what are we removing here? So instead of 4 Wrath of Gods, we have like 1 Wrath of God, 3 Bring to Light, a 4th Asika, 1 less Remand. What do we have? 4 Utopia Sprawl, 4. What would you play? Explorer Farseek.
I mean, I think maybe we run both. Is that
Okay,
crazy?
that's not no,
Like,
it's not crazy. It's not crazy at all.
because I
Although
think we want.
we should have some interaction for the opponent. I don't. All of a sudden, we're just pure ramp, no interaction. We got to have like
I mean,
probably something.
I feel like Wrath is probably what you want, right? The like just end all ramp, and then maybe we bring in like counterspell type interaction against the decks we really wanted against, like from the sideboard. That could
Yeah,
be
so
like
put that in
a
the
way to go
sideboard.
about it. And I mean, I think you don't need to like be this excessive on the Super Friends quote unquote plan from the sideboard, because I
Well, I
feel
mean,
like
this
once
is like main deck this is like main deck Super Friends, isn't it?
exactly,
As
like,
far as I'm concerned. Or should
but
we bring the
obviously
Super Friends package in the main deck?
my man thinks the Predators are cool and wants to play those
Oh, right.
Predators. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah. We're
we
the
have to.
Praetor deck.
So, but what I'm saying is you don't have to devote that many sideboard slots to Planeswalkers, because I feel like once you have the Prismatic Bridge, you just have infinite creatures. So even if they have creature removal, at some point they're gonna run out, and like you're still piling on stuff.
Hmm.
So I think that's yeah,
I
that's
just
kind of
noticed we have one color of each. We have one Praetor of each color: white, blue, green, red, black.
exactly. And when you assemble them all, they just fuse and instantly win the game with some Power Rangers massive
Yeah.
robot type deal.
So just a finishing thought. When you have a deck that's sort of based around one card, you got to get it consistently. Like, um, you need to get it. Like, if the deck's based around this thing, you got to get this thing consistently, and this deck isn't doing it enough. You add some more copies of it and Bring to Light, and you'll make the deck a lot more consistent. So thank you very much for submitting that deck list. Check out another. We've got MTG Box.
MTG Bucks, let's go. Let's see what you got, man.
Yeah, let's go. You were made for this show.
Hope so.
Oh, Red Phoenix.
Hell yeah!
Momo Red Phoenix of all phoenixes. Any description? Doesn't need it.
It's Phoenix. We just run with it. I feel like when I see the finale of Promise, I already feel like this man just was like playing some historic, and he was like, dude, I'm not gonna buy a modern land base. Screw you. I'm just gonna, and he did it, you know? So
14 mountains, 4 Ramnap
yes.
runes. We got the Soulscar Mages, Magmatic
Mhm.
Channeler, Runaway Steamkin, Arclight Phoenix. Interesting, no Swift Spear in all of this.
Yes. That would right away be my first feedback before we even continue.
Oh, hold on. This is historic.
Oh, perfect.
We're in historic. All right. So we're not actually in modern. Yeah, we do all formats except Commander and Limited. Once
I can do
someone submitted.
limited.
No, but like someone once submitted me a limited deck, and they didn't even show me all the extra playables, just the deck itself, and I'm like, well, there's like I can't do anything with this, man.
It's trash.
Smuggle some good cards into the draft and call it a day. Anyway, okay, so we're
Concede
in
and
historic.
draft again.
We're at Soulscar Mage, Magmatic Channel, Runaway Steamkin, Arclight Phoenix, and an Ox of Igonus. We got the Crash Through, Faithless Looting, Lightning Axe, Pillar of Flame, Shock, Warlords, Fury. Creatures you control gain first strike until end of turn and draw a card. Finale of Promise, light up the stage. And we got solid mana base, 18 lands. Another Lightning Axe, Magma Spray on the sideboard. Red Cap Melee. 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If a non-red permanent is dealt damage this way, you sacrifice a land.
It's a card.
It's a card. A Braid, Roiling Vortex, and the Acrone War. Gain control of target creature for as long as the Crown War remains on the battlefield. Oh, it's 4 mana though. Until your
Yeah.
next turn, creatures your opponents control attack each combat if able. And the third one is each tap creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. That's really clunky and slow.
Yeah, I would cut. Like,
What would
the
you?
main point of a Crowan War is like if you're a sacrifice deck, and I think if you're not a sacrifice deck, a Crowan War, especially if you're running 18 lands, like you're not gonna play a Crowan War like
Oh yeah,
at
it's like,
all.
well, it's actually a little bit more likely than you would think because you do got the Steamkin.
Mm,
Steamkin adds mana. Because I was always wondering how the hell do these mono red decks have so much mana than me? And between Runaway Steamkin and Light Up the Stage, I think they actually reasonably get to 4 mana pretty consistently. Like they can hard cast Arclight Phoenix. They don't have many good. Well, actually, I guess they have good ways now of discarding it. But so I don't think it's unreasonable that they would get to 4 mana.
I like the use of Magmatic Channeler to pitch your Phoenixes. That's really cool to me.
Yeah, that's great synergy.
That's spicy. And I'm thinking like this list versus the red prowess list, right? Like mono red prowess is very similar to this, but it's not running Phoenix. So where's this list's upside, right? And I think your big advantage is definitely that you, yes, it is a bird. It is amazing. I'm thinking like, because this is in historic, there's always like these random spells that oh yeah, by the way, add Grafdigger's cages to the sideboard. Like, believe me, you want those Grafdigger's cages.
Even with the Arclight in the here?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Like Grafdigger's
Okay.
cage it's the best sideboard card in historic. Like if I'm not always doing something that like gets hindered by Grafdigger's cage, I still would probably want. You could even like this might actually be interesting. Board in some cards from the mono red prowess deck, like put them in your sideboard, and in a matchup where you want Grafdigger's cage, take out the Phoenix plan and be mono red prowess. Your deck is very similar to mono red prowess anyway, and I feel like that would be a pretty good surprise, especially if people are maybe boarding sideboard hate in, if they're boarding in graveyard hate against your Phoenix, then suddenly you're like, bam, I'm now a prowess deck that graveyard hate is useless. You're exiling my faithless looting. Whoop-de-doo, I don't care, right? Like, so I feel like...
So what does Grafdigger's Cage hit so hard in historic that we would want to play it in our own, like, sort of prowess, in our basically our mono red deck that also uses the graveyard?
So obviously Ultimatum is a really big player. So if we're saying you can't Ultimatum, that's pretty good.
Which Ultimatum is it?
Emergent Ultimatum.
Oh my god, so many. Emergent Ultimatum. This is a big archetype right now in historic.
Yes. Like it's very similar if you play standard to the Sultai Ultimatum in standard. It's just that to historic it has better cards basically. Exactly, Muxus, Jund Sacrifice. So, like Jund Sacrifice, it isn't as good anymore because they're not running the Collected Company anymore. The lists of Jund Sacrifice have actually changed massively. They're very grindy now. So I'm not even sure I would bring in Grafdigger's Cage versus Sacrifice. But yeah, Phoenix is huge. Like if other Phoenix deck, because I feel like if this deck is playing against an Izzet Phoenix deck, if you board to be mono red prowess, you are gonna kill them before they do anything. And I think that's your big edge in that matchup, and that's why I would also want that Grafdigger's Cage in that matchup. But yeah, like
they're mentioning Roiling Vortex also serves that purpose.
Yeah, definitely.
Cast a spell with no mana, 5 damage to that player. Also, they can't gain life.
For sure. Like that also is a thing, but that doesn't work against Phoenix. It doesn't work against Sacrifice with the Cat. That still comes into play.
Right.
I'm not sure if I think Collected Company doesn't cast the cards, right? Because Collected Company is obviously
it just puts it in play.
Boop. Yeah.
Yeah. So Grafdigger's Cage prevents that as well.
Vortex is very narrowly for the ultimatum deck.
Mhm.
Obviously, so, like maybe you would want to cut down like one of them because yes, it is a very hard out, but if you just put down a Grafdigger's Cage, meaning they can't accelerate into their win condition, and then you just put on the pressure, I feel like that might even be better than a Roiling Vortex because the cage just does it for less mana. Of course, Roiling Vortex does give you that consistent damage. But yeah, I really like this list. It's super solid. I think if I were to
Yeah, it's
build
clean.
like really good ratios, I'd maybe move the Ox to the sideboard. But then again, you lose so little from running in the main board. I mean, it's just one
Mhm.
slot, right? And you have so many discard outlets. I think it's fine to have in the main board. This is a really well built list. The only thing I would really change is, as I said, I would add Grafdigger's Cages to the sideboard, and then have
Oh,
some.
there's a problem with okay, so does Grafdigger's Cage actually prevent anything from Emergent Ultimatum? Search your library for up to 3 monocolored cards with different names and exile them. An opponent chooses one of those cards. Shuffle that card into your library. You may cast the other cards without paying their mana cost. Exile Emergent Ultimatum.
They're being
'Cause they
cast
can
from the library, right? They never
No, they're
enter your
getting cast
hand.
from exile.
Oh, okay. I
They're getting
misread that.
cast from
I'm
it.
sorry.
It's I've made the same mistake myself. It feels like everything is actually being cast from. It feels like everything is getting cast from the library, but really it's actually getting cast from exile. Because I think I once brought in like Grafdigger's Cage versus like a Bring to Light deck, and then like it didn't
Mm.
even matter.
Okay, okay. Then we stall the brakes. We keep that rolling vortex, guys. This guy's smarter than I am.
Well, maybe we could
But
still have a cage for all the other matchups, but Roiling Vortex specifically for the ultimatum matchup.
oh yeah, also something I actually forgot to mention that's like really important. Grafdigger's Cage for the Rakdos Arcanist matchup. That deck is huge now that it got Faithless Looting,
Hmm.
and Grafdigger's Cage is like so like it destroys that archetype. What are they going to do once you cage them? They're basically just playing Young Pyromancer and make tokens, and you'd really hope that your deck is better than just a deck that's making some Young Pyromancer tokens, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, but honestly, I really like this list. There's nothing where I'm like, oh, this really hurts the deck. But yeah, I would just what I'd add is like the option to board out the Phoenixes for a more traditional prowess plan.
Hmm.
Um, there's a lot of mono red prowess lists to look at. Just take some of the more important cards from those. I would cut the Akroan War. I don't really like it here against.
Yeah, what is it for? Like, I don't
I
even know what
mean,
matchup it's for.
like maybe I'm just forgetting some like big stuff matchup, but honestly, there isn't really a
Like, I can't tell a matchup
like
where I'd want to take their one big creature, because that seems like the most important mode on this card.
yeah. Um, wait, I'm gonna have to. I just don't want to be like talking trash. So I'll just really quickly uh check the
Check
current
the
meta game.
historic meta.
Yes,
What's going on? By the way, shout out and thanks to David for saving us there. That's why we got the community to save us here. It's not me for
exactly.
Decklist review. It's me and the community and
But
Litkakashi today.
but do still put in those Grafdigger's Cages, regardless of if I was wrong. They're really good. Believe me. Believe. Yeah, no, I don't
Man loves
see
his
any.
Grafdigger's Cage.
I
All right,
do.
we take
I
out
do.
this damn Crone War for the Grafdigger's Cage.
Easy. I mean, yeah, like
This is historic. I mean, I know there's Scourge of the Skyclaves, but oh no, there's Death Shadow, right?
there is. They brought it in with the historic anthology, but it isn't really like a thing. Like it isn't one of the decks I'm really scared of. Honest.
Right.
Oh, I maybe he's thinking for Orzhov aggro because they have like a bunch of enchantments stacked on like their one guy, and then you steal that one big guy and they have nothing, and you just can kill them in like one or two swings. I'm assuming
Right.
that like that's the only like deck that runs one relevant creature. They always only have like one big thing on the battlefield because they've stacked like their 4 enchantments on it.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'd assume it's for that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, no, again, this is a really nice deck. So congrats on that.
Agreed.
I
Yeah.
think,
Solid, clean list, solid, clean numbers. All right,
yeah.
Litkakashi. People want to know more about you. Where can they find you?
Where can they find me? Well, on YouTube, on
Boom.
Litkakashi, as you can see, and I do sketches on TikTok. I know most of like Magic's demographic, they're not on TikTok anymore. They're not interested, but I'm just throwing it out there. If you
No,
do
it's
watch,
rising. I would say it was nothing 2 years ago. So I mean, it's only going to go up.
exactly. And yeah, I do some short sketches on TikTok about Magic. Because I'm gonna be honest, my main enjoyment, like in Magic, aside from building decks, is making fun of player stereotypes. And yeah, these sketches give me an outlet to just do that. Um, so if you're into Magic comedy, check me out. I might even be funny. Who knows? It's for your own. It's up to your own judgment. Yeah,
Exactly. It's good stuff. And you can still see the sketches on YouTube. You know,
yes,
YouTube trying to get in on that TikTok attention. That's what they do here. So you can find links to his TikTok and YouTube in the description below. So thank you very much, like Kakashi, for showing up today. It was a great discussion. We had a lot of fun here. Got to
for
bring out
sure,
some of the
man.
anime fans in the chat. That's for sure.
Hey, man, I really appreciate you having me here. It was super fun. I've never done something like this before, so it was pretty exciting.
Good stuff.
And yeah, I just talking about Magic is fun, you know, makes you feel smart. It's like, right? I mean, that's why people want to talk about Magic on the internet because it's like it's a complex game. I'm so smart. Look at me. I can explain why this is a good deck list, right? That's the only point of talking about Magic. Is to seem smart.
That's right. Also
Exactly.
to help people. All right. So that's going to be it for Coffee and MTG today.
I had
If you want to see
Pepsi.
the replay, MTG Geek really late today, as usual. That's okay because we got, you can find the replays at Nikachu MTG Streams, my alternate YouTube channel. If I didn't get your comments, questions, or deck list, don't worry. We do this Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. If you want to support the channel and you aren't supporting yet already, you can leave a sub at twitch.tv. You could become a patron at patreon.com, or you can join on YouTube. Those are all viable ways. And as usual, I'm going to thank everyone for showing up today, because without all of you, whatever, this isn't much of a show without like questions and deck lists to be reviewed. So thank you for making me a part of your daily routine. And as usual, keep brewing up that coffee. We'll keep brewing up that magic. This has been Nikachu and Lake Kakashi. We'll see you next time.
Peace.